Welcome back. Welcome back, you wonderful, wonderful people. I'm Mr. Kowalski. I am the SACS Technology Coordinator, and I taught at Woodside for a number of years, so hello to all of you who I had as wonderful students. Ms. Detter and I are going to walk you through some important things regarding your brand new laptops. These are really nice machines. We want to make sure that you are understanding your responsibility for the care of them as well as the usage on the internet. So without further ado, we're going to look first at the acceptable use policy. The SACS acceptable use policy is found on the Homestead website. You can click the Students tab, and it is the first link at the top. The acceptable use policy highlights a lot of different things regarding technology, responsibilities of SACS for safeguarding against privacy concerns, and it also covers your responsibilities as students and the use of technology. I encourage everyone to read this, but I do want to highlight a few things that you really want to pay attention to. I'll scroll down to the second page, which is where we can see the responsibility of the SACS user, and that was a fantastic highlight, by the way. It's going to talk about the fact that you are not to access any type of objectionable material, whether you're on the internet or it's just on your hard drive somewhere. If you bring something in on a flash drive and you upload it to your computer, or you just have it sitting on a flash drive, we're going to be able to see that. And there have been many cases where students have brought in highly objectionable material and they've been dealt with the discipline procedures. You are not to bypass the SACS filter in any way. That could actually be an offense in terms of a legal offense. Internet is a privilege. It can be taken away. Make sure that you're not purchasing anything through these machines or lobbying for political parties. I thought that was amusing. Make sure that you are not using these to bully or harass people. Again, if you're using SACS equipment, then you're going to lose that equipment if those are the types of things that you're doing. We'll talk about vandalization. We'll talk about laptop care and damage and your responsibilities in a little bit. And then the last thing I want to cover is the fact that you need to use good digital citizenship. Tomorrow we'll talk more about digital citizenship, the fact that every click counts. You cannot take clicks away. Everything is recorded, and you need to make sure that you're thinking about the other people on the other side of whatever communication you are engaging in. There are some other guidelines. You can see down near the bottom, it talks about our responsibilities as a district in safeguarding your privacy, and you can take a look at that. So I encourage everyone to read that. The next thing that we're going to talk about before you get the machines is laptop care and usage care.
So just as it's important to abide by and follow the AUP, it's equally as important to take care of your actual laptop. We're going to take a few minutes to talk about the care of your laptop. So with physical care, there are a few things you need to try to remember and be diligent about. The first one is you need to carry your laptop in a bag or a padded sleeve. There are a few examples here on the screen. You can use a normal book bag as long as there is a padded section. Sleeves that are padded are also acceptable. Try not to keep your laptop in your car ever. You can see here that even though this is a bit of hyperbole, your car can get really, really hot or really cold. If your laptop is subjected to intense cold, when you bring it into a warmer environment, it has a tendency to produce condensation, and that can damage the inner workings of your laptop. And it's pretty self-explanatory what will happen to your laptop if it's left out in a very, very hot car. It will melt. When you clean your laptop, don't use any cleaning solution. Try to use just a microfiber cloth those are the types of cloth that come with anytime you get a phone or a tablet. It'll come with one of those cloths. And if absolutely necessary, you can get it slightly damp. Don't get it drenched because that can run into the screen. Be careful about putting anything on the keys. When I taught at Woodside, the majority of screen breakage was caused by accidentally leaving a pencil or some type of writing device on the keys. Because these are touchscreen, you may have the tendency to use a stylus. So you'll need to be extra diligent to just make sure that the keys are free of anything. No stickers. Stickers, while they allow you to express yourself and your love for asphalt, whatever that is, they're annoying. And when we repurpose your laptops to give to the next group of kids, we need to make sure that we give them a good machine that's free of damage and of your personal stickers. So we have to remove them. If we have to remove them, you will be charged. And one thing to think about is how to wrap your cord. So here's a quick video showing you the proper procedure for wrapping your cord.
All right, so wrapping your cord is actually kind of important. You need to pay attention to a couple different things. The first major thing is at the end of the cord where the wire comes out, you want to make sure that you keep at least an inch slack at the end. If you continue to pull on it like this, the wire connection is going to break and fray. So anytime you wrap it, you want to keep this loose. Same on the AC side. From there, it's your own personal preference. Here's one way. I basically provide the slack at each end, connect them in the middle of the brick, and I wrap around the brick. Now, honestly, it's not ideal because you're putting some stress on the wires and it makes it a little bit bulky. But for the sake of brevity, that's the way I do it.
So if you're not paying attention and you're constantly putting that stress, that would be considered gross negligence. You know the proper procedure and you're constantly doing something other than that procedure. Adapters cost $39 and you could potentially be charged for a replacement. There are some other things to consider regarding your laptop usage, and it's the actual usage of the machine. This is something that we've heard from teachers, and it's become a kind of a persistent problem. When you walk away from your machine, you are still logged in. So anything that happens on that machine, you are still held liable and accountable for. Over at CMT, we've had some issues where there were kids trying to access really inappropriate things. And it becomes a he said, she said situation when a student says, I didn't do that. I wasn't on the machine at that time. I was over in another group. It was somebody else. Because it's your machine, you're still held liable. So, rule of thumb, anytime you leave or walk away from your machine, press the Windows key and L. And that just locks it quickly. And then the only thing you have to do is come back to it, press the space bar, and type in your password. So the only thing that could prevent that from working would be if you share your password with somebody, which we absolutely highly recommend you do not do. The other main thing about your usage is to shut down at the end of the day. You need to go to the Windows icon, click the power button, and press shutdown. Now, these are solid state hard drives, so the shutdown procedure will take much, much less time than the previous machines. You have to do this. Please shut down your machine at the end of the day. Remember to shut your machine down at the end of the day. More than anything, it's going to help you because when you go home and try to connect to your Wi-Fi, as long as you had shut down at the end of the day, you're not going to have interference of trying to connect back to our network. Also, when you shut down and turn back on, you're going to get really important updates. And if you don't get those updates, that can end up causing major problems later. Another thing to remember is if something does happen to your laptop, if you drop it, if someone accidentally steps on it, whatever. You need to report that damage immediately. Don't just wait until you have to turn your laptop in to say, oh, I had accidentally dropped it, because at that point, you're probably going to be held liable. If you report the damage immediately, accidental damage will be excused. But if it's frequent, if it's pretty clear that it was purposeful, or if it was gross negligence, that may result in disciplinary action and or charge for that machine. So what happens if your machine gets lost or stolen, or it's absolutely decimated because you dropped it from a 3-story window? You're going to be charged. And the charge of these laptops will be $838. These are nice machines. They are pretty solidly built. And yeah, $838 is not something that you want to fork over. So how do you prevent having to pay $838 if it gets lost or stolen? There are some different things that you can do. You can talk to your parents or your guardians about purchasing insurance. It's a third-party insurance. It's Worth Average Group. They may have heard about this or have been told about the insurance at registration. But if you are concerned and you're really worried that, you think it's going to get stolen, go for the insurance. Bottom line is, you really want to think of these machines as your own. Treat them like you paid for them. If you do that, you're not going to put an $838 piece of machinery that you paid for personally in harm's way, or you're not going to be negligent with it. So try to that's the best rule of thumb. Image credits. And at this time, you are going to get your laptops. So teachers can pause the video and then restart after you have passed everything out.
Hello all. One of the things you're going to want to do with your new computers is play around with the new Windows 10 experience. There are some slight changes from Windows 7. There are a lot of things that are similar, and there are some pretty cool features that are not featured on Windows 7. So I'm going to talk through some of those cool features that you may not be able to pick up intuitively on your own. The first thing is the fact that, like Windows 7, there is a Start button. In the case of Windows 10, obviously it's a square. When I click this, you'll see that my most recent applications or programs show up. I have a list of all of the different applications I have available via the All Apps button. If I click this, you can see all of the different things I have there. I can even click on a letter and I'll get a filtering functionality so that if I have a lot of applications, I can jump to a specific letter based on the first name of the application. When I go back, I have a settings button. I can open up all of my different settings. You can play around with that. And then I also have the option for my power where I can shut down or I can restart. On the right side is a collection of tiles that is a throwback to Windows 8, which happened to be a disaster for Microsoft. But there are some really cool functionality and feature options with this. The first thing is that you'll notice they're basically shortcuts to different programs or applications. And you can designate whatever you want here, and it'll just be a matter of playing around with it. These are pretty much all the things that default on. You can resize this entire window to make it smaller or shorter according to your needs. And you can even resize the tiles themselves. So if there's a tile that you want to be able to see easily, for example, weather, I can right-click on the tile and I can size it to something that's more suitable to what I want to look at. For example, my weather is large. I can single-click on the application to open it. For the weather, you will end up setting your location, and then you can have a quick glance at the weather at any time. This also has my calendar, my Twitter feed, the notifications that I have, and I have a mail button, but it doesn't really work because we have Outlook. Another neat feature is the Cortana search field. Cortana is the voice activation feature similar to Apple's Siri. It doesn't work as well as Siri, I don't think, but it's still pretty neat. The caveat is that you have to have it connected to a Microsoft account in order for it to work. But the search field works really well. So when I click on the search field, I can type anything that I'm looking for on my PC or on the web. So if I'm looking for a document on blended learning, it's searching through my stuff, all of the different documents that have that name in it. I can filter according to the type of document that I'm looking for. If I'm looking for a photo or video or a Word document, whatever. And I can also search the web, and it will jump to Edge, which is the default browser.
One of the first things you're going to want to do also is change some of your default programs. That includes your default browser and the default way you open up PDFs. You can access this by going to one of two places, and this will just be your personal preference. Over on the right-hand side in your little task notification area, you have new notifications that show up. You have some different options here. You can click All Settings, or it's also under your Windows a button. It's under Settings. So click Settings, and we're going to look for Default Apps. And then from here, you need to find the correct information. So first, for your browser, you want to switch off of Microsoft Edge. Now, there are some good things about Microsoft Edge, but it also causes problems with certain things. So we're going to switch that to your preference, either Firefox or Chrome. And then you also need to change how you open up PDFs. So there's a button called Choose Default Apps by File Type. You'll click that. And this is an incredibly long list. You'll notice as I start scrolling, it's going to take a long time to load. And what I'm looking for is .pdf. So I need to go all the way down. And the teachers also need to do this if they haven't done it yet. It'll just make their lives easier. I missed it. Here we go. So I'm in O and P, PDF. So you can see right now for PDFs, it opens up with Microsoft Edge. Again, this causes problems. You can't really save the PDF through Edge. So we want to switch this, and you'll select Adobe Acrobat DC. And once that's done, you can see there's no save button. It just changes, and you're good to go.
The purpose of this video is to ensure that students log into their Google account rather than Google Chrome, which is the browser. In order to make sure that we do this correctly, please open an internet browser. I'm using Google Chrome for this particular demonstration. Instead of trying to log in here, go up to the address line and type in accounts.google.com. This will take you to the login screen where you see my email address. Students will put in their student identification number and then click Next. Then students will need to input their locker combination with the dashes in order to sign in. Once we get logged into our Google account, you will see a few things. The first thing you'll see is your initial in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that once, okay, and you can see that you're logged into your account. The other thing that you can do here is get to the Google Apps. This is where you can get to your Drive, your Docs, Google Slides, and more. If I also click More, you will see that YouTube is here. You need to be signed in to your Google account to get the YouTube videos to play correctly. And it doesn't matter if you're using Chrome, Edge, Firefox, you will need to go to accounts.google.com and then log in before YouTube videos will play correctly for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to come to the Media Center. Thank you. The purpose of this video is to help troubleshoot if things aren't working correctly on your computer. What we're looking at here is to see if you're actually logged into your Google account correctly versus incorrectly. If I open my Chrome browser and I go up to the upper right-hand corner, I will see the little hamburger box. If I click on that and then go to Settings, I will now see some different things that I need to check out. Notice this first one says Sign into Chrome. Do not sign into Chrome. If you see that you're signed into Chrome, then you need to log off there. Another way that you can tell whether or not you're logged into Chrome is to look at People right here. If you see your name there, then you're logged into Chrome, the browser. Please make sure that you remove that person by clicking on the name and then click on Remove. Rather than logging into Chrome, then go up and open a new window and type in accounts.google.com, and then you can go ahead and log into your Google account correctly. If you have any questions, feel free to stop by the Media Center. Thank you. In order to log into your Canvas account, you will need to visit the Southwest Allen County Schools homepage or the homepage for Homestead High School. To get to the SACS page, you need to type in www.sacs.k12.in.us. Then you will need to go to the Students tab. The first option here is Canvas. You will then need to input your student ID number and your locker combo with the dashes. Should you have problems logging into Canvas, please let one of your instructors know or come to the Media Center to get help. Thank you. This will help you run a group update. The first thing you need to do is go to the desktop of your computer and go down to the bottom left-hand corner and click on the Windows icon. Then, where it says Ask Me Anything, type in This PC. Once you get to this PC, what we're looking for is the local drive, okay, the C drive. So go ahead and click on that. You will then see the CMT Tech folder. Click on that, and then you'll see one that says GP Update. Click on that and allow your computer to run. Oftentimes you might need to let this run, shut your computer down, log back in, and run the group update again. If you have any questions, please come to the Media Center. Thank you.
Okay, so we covered the AUP, some laptop care, usage basics. Ms. Detter talked about accessing the Google accounts, and we discussed a few of the basic new Windows 10 features, but we certainly didn't cover everything. These are touchscreen. We didn't talk about that. So you'll have a little bit of time here at the end of this class to play around, test some things out, and begin making it your own. Tomorrow, the plan is to cover digital citizenship, which is a very important component in utilizing these new laptops. And we'll also talk about some of the new saving features that you'll have access to.